For me. Holy Mike, kia ora katoa, e te whanau. Welcome everyone. If we can please start today's proceedings with the whakatauki. As always, it's a moody ake whakarongi hoke. Onwards and upwards, everyone. Welcome, councillors, welcome staff, members of the public. Richard, good to see you in the media. I haven't heard from Councillor Graham. Has anyone heard from him?
Apology.
There was an apology, so an apology from Councillor Graham from you, John.
Yes.
So Councillor Herbert, apology, seconded by Councillor Payne. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against, thank you. Does anyone have any late items or urgent business?
Just your worship, bring your attention to the replacement rates resolution pages. We always have to have a legal check to make sure that the resolutions are actually correct, because it's a major deal if you get them wrong. So this has just gone through the legal check, and so there are some minor wording changes to the resolution as a result of that, but no substantive changes, but it needs to have replacement pages.
So I'll move that we take the late item, or the replacement late item, seconded Councillor Finch. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against? Does anyone have any declarations of interest? Councillor Wheeler.
Item number 4, the Moore Park pump track proposal. I should declare an interest in that as item 1. Trustee project.
Were you appointed as council rep?
No.
You weren't, so it's on your own volition. So, okay, so if we can please have it noted and you'll exclude yourself from discussions and vote. Thank you for that, Councillor Wheeler. Right, that brings all that. So we now move on to public forum. Welcome, Mr. Edgar. If you wish to speak, the floor is yours.
Anybody fix this sound system?
Oh, look, it will cost a lot of rates. How much do you want us to spend on this?
How much you wasted now?
Yeah.
So
Floor is yours.
is that a yes or no?
At the moment, it'll be a no on my time anyway.
Approximately a year ago, I had the unfortunate opportunity, as I see now, to buy a house in Stirling, and I bought one. And it's unfortunate because I'm here today to discuss things that I think aren't right because of this council. When I moved there, Mount Wallace Road, where I live at 63, had a 50k speed limit outside it. And one day I noticed a council vehicle going past exceeding the speed limit by quite a considerable margin. When I rang the council, I said, I'm not very happy about one of your vehicles. The next thing I know was this, a couple of days later, there's a milk truck going past, and I rang the cheese factory and said, you've got a truck going past at speeding. He said, oh no, he said, it's 100k. And I said, no, it's 50. He said, you've got to come and check the sign. And without any knowledge to me, the signs was changed to 100k at the start of the road with a tar seal ends at the cheese factory. And previously to that, there was a sign at least 800 metres further along the road towards Ben Har that stated that the road from there on was 100k, or coming the other way it was 50, coming past both my neighbour's house and mine. And when I rang the council about it, they said, oh no, it's in the right place. And the argument was that no, they hadn't increased the speed limit, which to me is an outright lie. But
Sorry, point of order, that's accusing staff of lying.
pardon me?
Point of order, please don't accuse staff of lying.
I didn't accuse anyone of lying.
That's an out and out lie, was your statement just then.
That's my statement, yes.
Point of order.
Please yourself. Anyway, and I got a letter back saying that put the sign back 100 metres back to where it should be. It's not 100 metres, it's 800 metres. I've walked it. So is that a lie or what, Mr. Mayor? Come on, you tell me.
If you're making the accusation that staff have lied to you, then yes, I will point of order you again. So would you please clarify and move on? More to the point,
I'll
move
show
on.
you the letter later if you like. Anyway, so here's Mount Wallace Road, pretty much a single dirt road, not tar seal, no road markings, now designated at 100 kilometres an hour. And I was informed that because there's less than 500 vehicle movements a day on the road, it can be 100k. And I said, well, has anyone done a count? No, we haven't. So I thought, how can you put up a speed sign that says it's 100k when you haven't even counted the amount of cars that use it in a day? Pretty obscure to me. But anyway, it says in the letter I got from Steve Hill in the last couple of days that it's the council's discretion that whether they can change the speed limit. And I'm asking the speed limit to be changed from the 100k it now is to what it was, 50k, because I bought a house I thought was in a 50k zone and I was quite happy about that. But it turns out I bought a house in a 100k zone. And whose fault's that? It's certainly not mine. And I got a note back saying I should have checked the road speed before I bought the house. What a ludicrous thing to say. Who's ever done that in a house? Who? Who here has ever done that? Nobody, I'm sure. Yeah. So why would you want to have a road that's dangerous, it's curved, to be a 100k, especially, and I'll move on to another thing about that later, but
Sorry, I do have to remind you there's 5 minutes for public forum for speaking.
well, I
So
wasn't aware of that. Man should be able to speak as long as he wants to.
in other forums possibly, but there's 5 minutes. I do give some latitude, but there is limits.
Right then, so I want the council, please, to put it back to 50k, because it's only common sense. And I hope some of you have got some common sense. So, you know, past to where it was, back past not just my place, but my neighbours.
Okay, so councillors, if that's Mr. Edgar's forum for today, what do you wish to speak about?
No,
Is there any questions you wish to ask him? Councillor Baldwin.
I'll just ask one question. How many houses on that Mount Wallace Road?
I have no idea. I only go to my place and I have made a habit of driving up the road and counting all the houses between here and my place in Ben Har.
Thank you.
Which number, Mount Wallace Road?
63, on the corner, just past the cheese factory.
Could I please ask staff, there seems to be some a matter of contention as to whether it's 50 or 100k. Do we know how long it's been 100k, what the story is? No, sorry, I'm asking staff. Because like I've lived here all my life, and as I would have taken it, it would have been 100k as soon as you went round by the glass houses and out through there all the way through to Ben Howe. But can we have a clarification, possibly, Jules, are you aware of?
Your Worship, the matter of the moving of the speed limit sign has been a matter that Mr. Edgar has raised with staff previously, and staff have replied to Mr. Edgar, including my latest reply just as of last night or yesterday. And so, but the difference is that there is that matter, but now past that matter is the request from Mr. Edgar to please reduce the speed limit. So it's a separate issue in that sense. But the matter of moving the speed limit has been a complaint matter from Mr. Edgar and has been investigated, and a number of responses have been given back to Mr. Edgar that are on file about the circumstances and the reasoning.
And there's quite a set process of changing the speed limit that we can advise Mr. Edgar on. These are the steps that would have to be taken to change it back again. Was that? It's not just let's just go it. There is a set procedures.
There's definitely a formalised process to do so.
Yeah.
But any member of the public, and often they do, ask similar things. So it's not an unheard of matter.
Yeah, we can take it on its merits in due course. Councillor Finch.
Thank you. How many milk trucks go past your house in a day, do you know?
I don't keep a regular count, but I see one going past from time to time.
Oh, so it's not like,
I don't know.
so there's not 50 doing bits backwards and forwards?
I wish there was, then you might reduce the speed limit.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions, councillors? If not, is there any last item you wanted to bring up, Mr. Edgar?
There's two actually.
It's pushing. We do have
Well,
a
no
full
one told
council
me
meeting.
5 minutes.
Sorry, but that once again is standard process, and I don't, please, we come here and we treat some public forum with respect, but there are rules around it that I have an obligation to maintain.
Well, it would be good if somebody notified me in advance. Yes.
I would have said that the rules for public submission were well canvassed, but that aside, do you have one last item you wish to raise?
One. Well, I'll just come back another day. My berm outside my house, when I got there, it was overgrown because there's an old hedge growing there. And I asked the council whether they could take care of the berm, and they said it was my job because it's outside my property. And I said, well, it's not my job because it's not my property. I can't put a fence up and say this is mine. I didn't plant the hedge. I have nothing to do with it. And I said, if you're happy enough to bring it up to a standard, I'll maintain it. That has now gone by the board because I'm not going out to maintain a verge that is at a 100k zone on a dirt road. That would just be ludicrous, and I'd be risking my life. So I would like the council to finish cleaning up my verge anyway, because it's dangerous. There's still parts of the hedge that are growing that are hard to see from coming out my driveway. They did send a flail mower around during the summertime, and with some cajoling from me, the man did a bit more than he said he was supposed to. And I was told the mower was going to be coming back before winter. It's now winter and I haven't seen it. I've seen a spray truck come around and spray the weeds, but some of them were still standing as well, and that was a couple of months ago. So, I've got as you know, Mr. Mayor, you just mentioned about the glass houses, where the house is, the house, and I've done a lot of work there to maintain it and bring it up to a standard, and people have commented to me about how good a job I'm doing of the property, and I take pride in my work, and I think that it's almost a category historical house, and people go past and all they've got is this mess in front of them, and I'm not going to risk my life in to make it tidy. You know, I'm not going to clean up someone else's mess ahead of me. I don't think that's my job. If the council let it go to the standard it is today, that's the council's problem. It's not mine. I was quite happy to look after the berm once it was down to a standard, which I've done with previous rural homes I've had, one in Kennington and one in just outside Cromwell. Part of my business was landscape work, property maintenance. So I take pride in my work, and I like people to, you know, to see what I've done and say, look, I've done a good job. But, you know, all they're going to see is old lavender, parts of old lavender hedge, old tree branches, rocks, and weeds. You know, it's, to me, I don't think it's on.
So
And
consequently, yeah,
sorry?
sorry, I think we made the point, and I'll just, if I can, with obvious time restraints, I'll go to Councillor Finch.
Thank you. So you started off saying about the berm, and then you moved on to the hedge, and then from the hedge, you said it was a lavender hedge. Is the hedge on your property, please?
No,
It's not on your
I wouldn't be
property.
mentioning it if it was on my property.
So is it a lavender hedge?
Yes.
Right, so it's the
Oh,
herb lavender.
That's I think it's lavender or something. That's an L word anyway.
So it's not a huge
It was, apparently it was up to the power lines up on the stage, and it was asked, and the council asked the previous landowner to cut it down. Well, he or the power board, I'm not too sure which one, but he did that, and I don't know why he didn't bother, but anyway.
Okay, thank you.
Because that's
Further questions?
1910 it was built.
Councillor Bowell.
Would you be happy if that hedge was completely removed?
I'd be very happy if that was moved, but who's going to maintain it? Because it says in this little piece here that you don't mow properties with the mowed area is bigger than the berm area. Well, my berm area is approximately 800 square metres. So, you know, I think that's, you know, that's council job. And you've already proved that you look after the berm because you've already been there once with a mower and you've been there with a spray truck. So, you know, you've started, might as well keep going because I'm not going to be out there at 100k.
So can I just, you've clarified for me, because I was going to ask, are you familiar with the district plan rules that we have in place around berms? Staff, would it be possible to send Mr. Edgar the specific parts that are pertinent and the obligations between when a house is sold from what's passed on from the previous owner to the new owner, just so that we can clarify that, you know, the flow of responsibility?
Your Worship, again, this is just another matter that there has been correspondence over time with Mr. Edgar,
Right.
including with myself in terms of the information. And in fact, Mr. Edgar is quoting some of the information we provided. I don't believe there's a specific responsibilities of handover between landowners in any way with respect to this. It has anything to do with the council on verges and berms and that, Your Worship. But there is an element of policy that council puts resources into in terms of some aspects of that, but it is subject to, I'm talking about mowing potentially, it is subject to budget availability and also prioritisation based on safety, road safety factors. So there is some prioritisation. It doesn't mean that everybody necessarily gets 100% mowing, and even then it's only twice a year. But there's also some discretion involved as well, occasionally, depending on circumstances too. So there is discretionary discussions and policy discussions. And the latest information was we just gave Mr. Edgar the policies that he was after, and that's where we're going.
Excellent. So there is some clarification. If you wish any further clarification, Mr. Edgar, please, just as you obviously have done, if you could just contact staff. But thank you for your public forum statement.
You mentioned about my obligations as a landowner.
Yeah, but look,
Moving the title.
no, sorry, there's been 20, it's
There's
20
no law
plus.
saying that
Point of order, please.
Stay on the verge.
Thank you for your public forum. We have had 20 minutes on a 5-minute public forum.
That's not my fault. Yes, council.
We will move on. Thanks very much and look forward to, if you have any further issues, please come. Please watch the language on the way out. Right, councillors, page 6, agenda item number 1. Sharon and Peter. Is Sharon here? Nothing, Peter. Just. Right. I'll take that point on from the, so well informed before the public forum. That's good to know. So, Peter, floor's yours.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll take the paper as read with a note. There was an additional piece of information provided earlier in the week, which updated the minor technical error.
No, this is 1, Peter. Was number 2 that we had the replacement one.
It was to do with the annual report attachment, separate cover.
Sorry.
Annual plan. Apologies. Thank you. So just to repeat, in the annual plan, we replaced pages 20 to 22, which was due to a version control issue with the press release. Your Worship, I'll take any questions.
Thank you for that.
Your Worship, just some additional information. Sharon Jenkinson makes her apologies. She would normally be speaking to this as well, but the team's really stuck trying to get this ERP transition finished this week. And there's some last minute things that need to be done, and she couldn't be there for a while. So we're filling in to a certain extent. There are some notes that Sharon has provided to Jules just on one matter, Your Worship.
So just one issue, we went through obviously we did the preliminary rates level, and at that stage it was 6.04%. That had to be run through the financial system, and there was also a consequential decision in December that was found hadn't been incorporated, so that was incorporated, and that's where that's the final outcome. Once that was run through and all of the final calculations, that's where it ended up landing at 16.59%. So just wanted to update from that decision meeting through to where we've got to the 16.59.
Peter,
Yes, I'm open to questions.
open to questions. Councillors, do we have any questions, please? Councillor McAtamany.
Yeah, I just read the confusion. We are doing the annual plan at the same time, aren't we?
That's correct.
Yes.
So I just noticed one pretty or reasonably minor typo on page 9 of the annual plan. It was under the grants and subsidies, stating that we were going to allocate $1.5 million towards the Bruce Pool project. That should be $2.5 million. Page 9 under item 2.
You've got me, Simon. Page 9, what's the head
On
of
the annual plan,
On
grants,
the right-hand side.
right-hand side, grants, subsidies and donations. And the last sentence, we've contributed, we're going to contribute 1.5 million of investment towards this project. It was 2.5.
Well spotted.
We're just checking.
Well, see, I'm going to go, we got 1.5 million in the second tranche from memory. Was that the?
Yeah, the 1.5 million was the other funding.
1.5 and then someone went to the hall and a wee bit went to West Otago or something, but I thought it was 1.5.
Yeah, it's got the better off funding at the top. That was 1.5 to the pool, but the last sentence should be 2.5 of investment funding.
Is it the NECA investment?
You're talking about the one under current assets?
Yes.
You're talking about that?
Talk page 9.
Yep. Okay, right hand side.
Overview of changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, column 2.
Yeah.
It says we've contributed 1.5 of investment funding.
2.5 plus 1.5 of the better off That's, yeah.
Thank you.
We just
Councillor Wheeler.
Just a question. Well, no, sorry. I thought it was 1.9 of the Better Off funding that's actually going to the pool.
I think there's enough, because I thought it was 1.5. Can we just get it clarified? Get it before.
It's only a typo, it just needs correction.
Steve would be, sorry, our CEO would be able to do it under delegation.
5th of December.
so Councillor McTammy's perfectly correct. It's 2.5, so that's an edit typo left. Thank you.
Well done, Simon. I bet you Councillor Wheeler's fuming that
Councillor Wheeler, that's correct. It was 1.9 from the Better Off.
we got there in the end. Between the two of you,
Happy to
you
take-
saved face at the last minute.
happy to take the 2.5.
Further questions, please, Casey? If not, would probably, I did the resolutions one at a time, but if there's no contentious questioning or anything, is it that we could possibly take all four? So Councillor Phelps is happy to move all four recommendations. Do I have a second? Please. Councillor Payne, let's discuss all four, if there is any discussion before it goes to the vote. No discussion, we'll put it to the vote. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against, thank you. Now, this is the one that we had the replacement on. Everyone familiar with the replacement? It's just a wee bit of wording. Does anyone want staff to go through a further clarification of the changes? Or are you comfortable with what you're voting on?
Yeah, my understanding, Your Worship, is that there was no actual changes to the specific rates. It was the order of some of the wording had to change, or was, we were told, of some of those resolutions.
Done. So, is it just open to questions, or is it Steve? It's Steve. So, are there any questions that we have for Steve, please? No questions? What I originally had was I was going to take the first three and then the last four. If anyone's got any issues with that, please tell me, but if not, can we focus on the first three recommendations?
Sorry.
There is only three.
No, there's subsequent
On the back page, Bruce, there's another four.
The resolution 3 contains all the actual words as well at the end.
I'm taking it that way because there seemed to be sort of like the demarcation between these were operational, those were.
Sorry, no, just a very minor correction I think needed on that page 9 where it's community board target rates, just the west of Targo. There's an arc at the end of that first. Should just come out.
You got them. It's a fair call.
It's a major.
Yeah, no. So that aside, any questions? I'm going to do the three first and then I'll flick to the four. So we're only discussing the three. Someone happy to move those three, please? Councillor Finch moving, Councillor McCrosty seconding. Any discussion? All those in favour? Aye. Those against? We flick over to those final four, specifically on them. Does anyone have any questions? I think we've seen these same resolutions year in.
Happy to move.
Happy to move. Thank you again, Councillor Finch. Seconded, Councillor McCrosty again. I should have just done it in all seven. Any discussion? Take it to the vote. All those in favour? Aye. Those against. Thank you. Sorry for that. I should have just gone clean through to the finish.
Sorry.
Oh,
Small minor amendment needed.
oh, you're just rubbing it in now. Councillor McTammy's on his knees.
Mum, what?
On number 5 there in the paper that we've got there, number 5 it should be 5th of September 2025.
Yeah, so that'll just be picked up by the resolution 4 or 3 or whatever it was. CEO will make the changes. You right with that?
Yeah, well, it definitely won't be 5th of September 24.
Done. And Julie's found another one, but you'll inform, well, you won't, you'll just inform yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, team, we're moving on to page 16, annual plan, scheduled fees and charges. They're pretty wordy recommendations, and I was going to go through one at a time unless someone's going to hold. Peter, do I go back to you or Steve, or where am I?
No, your worship, I mean, Peter can give a rundown. You'll recall that we did try to get some done and we just ran out of time. So we proposed to give you plenty of time to be aware of it by making sure it was in the agenda for all the responses.
Yep.
So you had plenty of time to consider whether you agreed or wanted some changes. And that was my understanding of what we were doing. Is there anything else to add, Peter?
No, you do it.
I actually went through them, Peter, and I congratulate the team on the fact that you articulated our position and explained it well, so thank you. I was happy with that. What's everyone's thoughts? Do we have questions, a general comment on any particular response?
Or any amended changes, your worship?
Anything, team? Yes, John.
Just when I did read, there was a number of submissions in the 4 booklets, there was 3 or 4 of them, that the people actually said, I don't get any of the 3 waters. So I'm not sure whether they get a written response saying this doesn't actually affect you. There was at least 2 or 3 of them that said, this, I'm not on the water scheme, I don't get stormwater, I don't get sewage. And they sort of had, you know, they were giving us their thoughts, but it doesn't affect their rates if they're not on it. Do they get told that, I suppose, is my question.
I mean, Peter would be much more on top of just, you know, the
I've probably got the market,
we
thing
talked
I'll get
about and what else proposed response at all, if it was going to be today. So calling it, Peter?
We didn't get down to that level of detail, so we have not engaged at that level. What we've engaged is at the broader level, because so the Mayor's overall letter covers the overall approach in terms of the annual plan. And what we've done with the individual submitters is chosen those additional items we believed warranted additional thought, but if it's the view of yourselves that we need to provide some additional commentary in that area, we can.
Yeah, I think that's.
I take your point, John, but I also, you don't have to be a ratepayer, you don't have to be a member of the district, so they can make a submission, whether
But there was
they've got
almost
skin in the
confusion in
game
some
or
of the,
such.
there was almost confusion that they thought it was going to affect them.
Yes.
Yeah,
It doesn't.
only one of many confusions.
Okay, look, I'm fine. It's just a question. There's many questions I have.
Further questions, Tane? Councillor Bolwell, is that it?
I was just going to make my thoughts known.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
I think people are entitled to submit and have an opinion on that, and the response, I think, is pertinent to their submission, and or possibly it will affect their rates if we can't address the rights of, okay, so it doesn't affect their water rates, not connected, but I think they might feel that the legacy of losing 3 waters does affect them in some way on the rates too. So.
And they may also shift from their property at some point to another property with water.
So, you, Worship, can I just ask for direction as to whether we address this issue and provide a particular response to these submitters?
Can I take it that the general consensus is we'll let it lie? Is that right, Tane? It's noted, but for reasons we're fine with where we're at. Any further? Is someone going to be big and brave and do all settle? Sorry.
Just before the second recommendation there, the second last line, it's got long-term plan 2024, it should be 30 to 30.
Yeah.
34.
That would be right though, wouldn't it? It was the 24-25 long-term plan, and this year's the annual plan. What they're saying is that they were guided by the decisions of last year's 24-25 long-term plan, and seeing there's no variations, we're flowing on through.
For you, Your Worship. I believe Councillor Wheeler is correct.
Don't say that. It's ungodly.
Oh,
Now I feel like Councillor McAdamney. Fair call, Bruce. You're winning. How dare we question you? Where the heck are we? I'm going to go back to you to see whether you're bold enough now. You've got enough encouragement to go for all 7 recommendations.
So sorry, Julie, you've got the 24, 34.
Oh, was that wrong year?
Yes, with that change.
So are you happy with all 7?
Yes, I must admit, my wife does point out mistakes, my mistakes.
Oh, many mistakes. Many she'd have to labour on it. So we've got Councillor Wheeler moving all 7 recommendations. Do we have a seconder, please? Councillor Payne. Righto, so has anyone got a question on any of the 7 recommendations? Put to the vote, all those in favour?
Aye.
Those against. Off over to page 57 where we've got Moore Park. Welcome, Mike. Thank you, Peter.
And as it comes up, Your Worship, just reiterate the point that you made. Thanks to the whole team for the effort in putting those submission answers together.
A big job on that, so well done. Thank you. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you.
Moore Park.
Moore Park. So just note that there are a couple of errors, minor errors in the report, just on page 60. Refers to an attachment. There is no attachment, as you've probably seen. And on page 62, the table that should reference section 7. Aside from that, just note that subsequent, I guess, to this report being prepared, just that we have done some additional work around stormwater from the proposed pump track, and so basically the requirement would be for any stormwater from the track to be drained into council stormwater network, as is also happening there for the basketball court. So apart from that, happy to take any questions.
Questions, team? Can I do a boomer one for clarification? Right? A pump, it's not a BMX track, it's one of those do loops and
Like a BMX track.
Like a pump track.
It's very similar. If you go down to Sydney Park,
Because we put in a pump track down in Kai, didn't we? And then there was quite a few injuries. No, there's the BMX track and the skate park, and in the middle there was a pump track, and they had there was just broken legs waiting to happen. It was. So if it is a pump track, if it is one of them, and an outside group builds it, and then a kid gets injured, who's liable? They're on our park.
It's the same question we dealt with at
ACC.
Kenny Park, Your Worship.
Yeah, and I can't remember what the outcome was. It was Kai rules down there.
and is there any other playground or
It's
any other
ours.
facility?
ACC.
There's, right? It's all there. That's what I like.
Your Worship, as long as, standard sort of things are happening. So we didn't let a piece of playground equipment deteriorate to a safety hazard that we were aware of and something happened, for example, or, those sort of standard stuff that you would expect as council to get right. As long as we follow that sort of process, then it's a bit like buyer beware stuff.
So yes, further to that, so Project Bruce have chosen a professional pump track designer, construction company. That's what they do. So you're going to have to assume that it will be done to a pretty high quality.
Would it be prudent to have a preliminary run by councillors Finch and McCosty just to check it out?
I saw the grass cart.
Right, onwards. I'm being flippant today. Councillor Finch.
Right, having had intimate knowledge and a lot of hours spent on the cycle track that we did, I was there night and day doing it. This is really good. The park is being utilised a hell of a lot now, and so I think this would be really good to see put in there, and it's a good place for it to fit in. So yes, I'm really behind it. And Project Bruce have done a lot of initial consultation with people, and got the support to be able to do it. So I'd like to think everybody would support it.
So I am going to take two separate resolutions because one's a does not. So what I will do, just to clear things up, let's get recommendation one out the way. I'll move it. Can someone second it? Councillor Herbert seconding. All those in favour? Aye. All those against. Now if we can focus on recommendation number 2. Discussion, Councillor Ludeman, followed by Finch.
I kind of would like to congratulate Project Bruce for taking on this project. As having been wanting to see the one down here at Centennial Park, it's great to see another pump track happening in the district. And it says in the report notice to council, so they've got enough funding from elsewhere. That's probably my question, enough funding to be able to do it, yes?
Through your worship, that's my understanding, or that's their role, I guess, to make sure that they have adequate funding. I guess we'd be asking pretty carefully that they do have that in place before they start. As noted, they haven't come to us for funding, and they assure me that they are good to go.
So I fully support the project. Good on them.
Where was it going? Sorry, Steve.
Yeah, so just a question. Mike, was this pump track ever going somewhere else at all by chance?
No.
Sorry? There were, so when they first came to us, there was another location within Moore Park. But we thought that was just too many issues around stormwater. We did have a very quick sort of scan around the rest of the town, the locations, and decided that Moore Park would probably actually work, and hence Project Bruce went ahead and did some additional consultation and other work to confirm that. So that's where we landed.
Right.
If everyone has finished discussion, I'd like to move, but I'll wait and see if everyone's finished discussion.
Unless there's a bounce of hands, I'll probably go to it because I didn't. I'll go to it. Yeah.
That council does approve the development of a pump track at Moore Park.
Move Councillor Finch that they do. Do I have a seconder, please? Councillor McCrosty, I'm open for discussion.
Only as long as Councillor Finch shoots round it on a rollerblade.
You'll have to pay for them.
I'm a bit worried that she was there at night time. What are you doing?
Till it's dark, the kids would say, hey
You said
lady,
and dark.
when are you going
No.
home? When you're in bed, so you can't write on our concrete.
That aside, do we have any discussion before we put it to the vote? Put it to the vote. All those in favour? All those against? Thank you for that. Did anyone note how quickly we can get through something without Councillor Mulwell? Number 5. Number 5, temporary road closure. Craig, where's Craig? No. James, maybe? Welcome, James. Just a temporary road closure. Welcome.
Thank you. This one's a wee bit unusual because we don't normally do this. It's come to our attention that we haven't been doing things to the letter of the law. And with especially things like most sport events, we're really keen to make sure that we cover ourselves up properly and the road closures are done absolutely to the law. Is there any questions?
Questions, please. James. Councillor Herbert, followed by Finch.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just for you, thank you, James. So have the residents have been canvassed and they're quite happy with it? Is my first question. The second question is, does the road get put back to its original state once the event's happening and who's crossed?
Okay, so yes, the residents do get canvassed. We do require that before we approve the management to make sure that the residents don't have it canvassed. And as far as damages, we have got the ability to charge the sporting event or whatever to repair damage. It is normally our experience that most of the damage on a gravel road is just basically moving the gravel from one side of the road to the other, and it's in with the first grade after.
Which is paid for by the event organisers.
No, it's just normally we try and organise the grader so that they come in after the event rather than grading before the event. So it's,
Thank you.
Just basically as an organisation, the timing of the grader.
Councillor Finch.
No, my question's been answered, thank you.
I remember a couple of years ago, the Targa rally came through and all hell broke loose with the school buses. There's not going to be any normal traffic movements up there that are.
Yeah, so this event, it happens probably twice a year that they use this road for rally sprint. There's only 4 houses that are affected.
All but some.
And there's no, and it's a weekend, so the school buses. The Targa rally is a lot more complex things with it because it's on major routes on arterial.
Further questions, Tim? Councillor Martin.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, James. Are they staying, like, is it just one leg, or are they there for?
So this event is just a 1 day. The cars will all go through, and then they'll all go through 3 times normally. So they just, once they're finished, they go around the road to the start, and then they go through the sprinting again. So they just keep on going around in the circle.
Do they tell you where they're going to be based? Like they normally have those pit stop things, and
that is normally included in the traffic management plan. So they've got to cover that because that affects the roads. They cover the pit stop area in the traffic management plan.
so do they have that in Milton itself?
No, it's down the bottom of Cullen Road normally for this event.
Right.
For like the Targa rally, they have them in various places. One of them is Wahola Domain.
Oh no, the only reason I asked it, I see them when they're in the Lawrence Chirapika Ward doing them when they're based in town, and they always bring a lot of people, and it's good for the local economy.
Yeah,
around the shops and stuff. So.
Yeah, so there's various ones. There's the quarter-mile sprints. There's a small rally event. It's 3 stages, I think, in Lawrence normally. And they're based in the pit areas in the town.
Yeah, no, they've injected a bit of cash into the communities.
Further questions, team? If not, thank you, James. So we can just hold and hover while we go through the discussion. Any discussion? I note that there's an or. Yeah, what I'll do, I'll take recommendation 1. I'll move recommendation 1. Do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Finch. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against. Now let's do the or. Anyone? Councillor Volwell.
I'm happy to move that the council approves the temporary closure of the roads.
Seconder, please. Councillor Catherwood. Did not go up there. No. So we're going to move in a seconder. Any further discussion before we put to the vote? If not, all those in favour? Aye. Those against. Pre-approved RMA, thank you, James. Pre-approved RMA Commissioner list. Olivia, welcome. What's yours?
Thank you, Your Worship. So, the planning team have been very lucky to go through Clutha Stars last year, and part of this was looking at process improvements for our team. So, when we reviewed all of the processes, we looked at the function of resource consents that have to go to hearings, mainly limited notification. And we found that one area of this, which maybe we could do a bit more timely, was the appointment of commissioners. Now, through delegation, we're required to request through yourselves for consideration. And in order to speed this up, we thought it would be a good idea to prepare this list to have pre-approved commissioners that we can use without needing to come every 6 weeks or so to ask your permission, just to really improve that process. This doesn't restrict us from using other commissioners that aren't on the list. If we were to do that, then we just come through the usual mechanisms. So I'll table the report as read and open for questions.
Thank you for that. Pretty straightforward, but does anyone have questions, team? Only one I had is, have we got a list of commissioners?
Yeah.
So,
In the agenda, Your Worship, they were in the, not that agenda, they were in the, it was a separate distributed document at the same time as the agenda.
Yeah, sorry, as you were. Anything else? If not, matter open for discussion. If I can hold and hover again. No discussion. I'll move recommendation 1. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Finch, all those in favour?
Aye.
Those against? Now someone's going to have to hit an orange. Which one?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so Councillor Herbert, seconded by Councillor Catherwood, has gone that council confirms option A. Any discussion? Put to the vote, all those in favour? Those against, thank you. Oh, here we go. Thank you. LGNZ policy remits. Thank you, Tony. No, so that's you, I suppose, Steve, is it?
Oh, no, we just go to you, your worship. These ones are generally and always.
I can
political.
honestly say it's my 15th year and I was excited this year as I've been for the last 14 years in the list of remits, which usually gives 1 or possibly 2 potential mayors a chance to practice their speeches on the stage. What are we going to do, Ted? So what Councillor Payne and I am unsure, is it Councillor Martin, are you attending as well? You're going to the AGM? No, so Councillor Payne and I need to have a bit of guidance, please. So we will just tick through the various remits so that we have your guidance on how we vote. So if we go to security system payments, remembering that central government, if you're an MP, you get a security system paid for in your house. We don't. Someone has suggested, some council has suggested that maybe we have a review of this. What's everyone's thoughts?
Just an update, I think, your worship, is that what we distributed just the other day, I believe, with the remuneration determination, has actually introduced for next financial year, the July the 1st, an option for an allowance for security system payments. So this may now be overtaken by that particular determination, which is out. So they may not even need to vote on that one. As worship.
They may not, but I think it's a good move, and if nothing else, it's like in today's environment, it's most definitely, I think, a prudent move for any councillor to have a security camera. Councillor Finch.
So with that, I'd like to move that we do vote in favour of it. Yeah, please.
Okay, so Game is suggesting yes. Do I have a seconder for it? Councillor Von Wheeler. Was that question? Councillor Catherwood.
Well, the question would be then, so that's unbudgeted then, Steve?
The determination that we received, whether there are increases, are not in our annual plan budget, because it's just been announced, isn't it? So there will be some consequences to that.
So, because when I had a quick little flicker, I saw the figure of 4,000 for the installation, 1,000 per annum maintenance, I think it said in that.
Yeah, it would be a decision when you, with the allowance and the determination, it doesn't mean to say, I mean, I think the council has an ability to decide whether they wish to apply these. So we'll still have to do that. And when you do make that decision, then you'll give consideration to the financial consequences.
That'll be next year's annual plan.
No, the determination actually comes in July the 1st for that.
Yes,
For that allowance.
so that's now. This one.
July.
Oh, I thought it was next one. Councillor McKevany.
So just a question on that determination that come through, was that a similar number to that? Or was it like at 4,500 installation and 1,000?
It's not, isn't it?
Because should we be,
I can just.
I suppose we can't do anything about it if it's already in.
What a magnificent time for procurement right across New Zealand on a number of security cameras, because I've just been looking at costs, and 4,000 is a pretty heavy system to begin with. So it would be great if someone could have a rationalisation program, because the only hesitation I have is, are we going down to 9, aren't we? No, it's this year.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, 60 okay. Right, Councillor Vawela.
I don't think we really need to have much of a discussion about the
Yeah.
amount, because it's really, we're just looking at the principle here at the moment. So happy to support, but I think a lot of people do have security systems anyway, business people, probably on a lot of farms as well these days anyway, I'm sure. $4,000, I imagine, which is pretty high market.
So let's flick through these. So we better move along. So I'll put it to the vote. Everyone in favour of security system, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Second one is improving joint management agreements. Different one, but what's everyone's thoughts? Councillor McAtamney.
I was very surprised at that one. I mean, I thought that's really an open gate for, well, especially, yeah, it's obviously a high bar, and there should be a high bar for councils to, just as we're doing with the water, to delegate off asset management. And especially saying that they wanted councils to pay for, it looked like they were wanting councils to pay for iwi to do the work to form that joint management. I thought, well, if they really want it, they'll fund that work to, yeah, it just seemed pretty light to me.
So let's say we have an epiphany moment and someone give me a recommendation. Let's tick through these.
Your Worship, just for clarification, can you, does council have the option not to vote on something?
Yeah, you can abstain.
So there can be a yes, no, or a
There is
neutral
just 3
position.
buttons, because they embarrass you if you don't have a button, but I think there are 3, aren't there? I've always done a vote, but I think you can abstain.
Just don't press one of the buttons.
No, they go, Clutha District still hasn't voted, Clutha District still hasn't voted. I know you have to hit a button, but I think there is a 3rd abstain. Councillor Vawela, help me out here, please.
I think this is probably a bit more of a regional council matter rather than a district council matter.
Yeah.
I'm neutral on the issue, to be honest.
So let's test the market. I'll put a recommendation out that we abstain on this one. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Martin?
I had a question.
Oh, so you're not seconding?
No.
Right, can I get a seconder and then we'll do a question? I'm going to let Councillor Herbert. Right, question now, Councillor Martin.
Well, it relates back to before you made your motion.
Yeah, no, but that's all right. If just as long as you can stretch it out and I can tie it in, we'll be able to do it.
Peripheral vision, you might have seen my hand up before you started.
No, I'm trying to look nice.
They even say themselves here, LGNZ, currently there's very little information available on the legal implications and on the process and the considerations for developing and implementing such an agreement. There's also no template provided for such agreements. Technical guidance from central government would further facilitate uptake. For me, that says a no. Yeah. So
Why didn't you say that before I did the form?
That's what I said, Your Worship. Peripheral vision.
Well, I'm stuck
Let's
there.
talk
We're going to
about
move her in a second. Trying to move it along.
So I'll move it that no.
No, we've already moved
Amendment.
and we're going to, you can do it.
Yeah.
Let's just move this one. I'll do a vote on the one and we'll blow it out the way. All those in favour? All those against? Good. Right, okay. We're going back to you, Councillor Martin.
So
Yeah,
I'll
be a wee bit snappier off the mark the next time.
Yep, so I'll move that we say no.
And I need a seconder. Councillor Finch, we're now going to discuss no. No discussion. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against? Right, let's make her snappier. Alcohol licensing fee. Councillor Herbert, which one?
I'm a yes on this because we don't have a bylaw currently, so we are stuck in the past.
Nice. Does anyone have a strong counter argument? We have a move there, Councillor Herbert. Move Councillor Herbert, seconded Councillor Phelps. Any discussion? All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against? Thank you. School bus services. I actually am a no for this one. When I put my kids on the bus, I want to know that there were school kids. They're not. You think that if an individual wanted to actually be on a bus with a whole lot of school kids, it's not what me as a parent wants. I want the kids to go to school, come home from school without that intervention. So on the face value, it looked sensible, but there's a security issue here. We know elements in society could take advantage of this. Councillor Lumen.
Well, I'd be a yes for this one because the public and school bus service definitely needs looked at, especially in the rural sector. And because at the moment, you're very much dictated to, when you get on the bus, what school you go to. And this is public school bus service, or the school bus service itself has needed looked at for years, and this may be a start. So I actually fully support this, because if you are, say, a child in Hilliand and you want to go to Rosebank School, you can't, and you can't get on a bus. Same if you live down Stirling Way, say down on the island, and you want to go to Rosebank School, you can't get on a bus. The bus is going past, because it's the high school bus is going past, but you are not allowed to get on. So I actually believe in supporting this, because the whole bus service throughout New Zealand does need to look at school children.
Councillor McTamaney, followed by Payne.
I think we're, sorry, but I think Councillor Lederman, you're misinterpreting the two bus services. One is a school bus service, and one is a public one by the regional or unitary council.
It might integrate. If they look at it, we might get the whole thing.
But we don't have public transport,
No.
for example, in this district. So those examples are, those decisions are made by school boards.
True.
But what is whether we put school children on a public transport.
Councillor Payne.
Well, that was part of it too, but yeah, just a small correction. You can get on a bus to go to a school further afield, provided you get permission from the school that you're driving past.
The board of trustees. Councillor Volwell, and let's bring this to a head.
I think this makes perfect sense, actually. I mean, lots of children travel on public transport every day. It doesn't mean that probably doesn't affect us in this district, because we don't have the public transport, and it won't mean that people, the general public, will be able to get on the school buses in this district anyway. But I'm happy to support this principle.
You moving?
I'll move that.
Move, Councillor Volwell, seconded, someone, Councillor McTamaney. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against? Aye. Review of local government arrangements to achieve a better balance. In light of the present direction that local government's heading, I would say this is a very aspirational goal, but it's everyone's thoughts. Anyone got to move it along? Which way are we going to go on this one? Are we abstaining again? What are we doing?
How many weeks are you going to the conference for?
I don't know. This is my highlight of it, though, I'd have to admit, so I want to get it right. Anyone got? Come on. In fact, I'll give it a go. I'll go. But I think it's almost pointless doing it, but yeah, aspirationally, wouldn't we like to see it? So I'll go, let's do it. Do I have a second, Councillor Finch? Any discussion? Put to the vote. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against? Thank you. Over to rate capping.
Sorry, Your Worship, just to the point of rate capping, it's not asking for a resolution to approve or disapprove of rates capping. It's asking for agreement with the LGNZ direction of travel on the subject of rates capping. So just be aware of that. You need to know what the LGNZ direction of travel was, which was quite detailed in what they're intending to go back to the government over in further rates capping. That's what's being sought in terms of direction.
And they allocated 2 reps from each council to go on what was an informative Zoom. So Councillor Payne and I went on it the other night. And really, if I put it down, it was, are we ever going to come together and fight, stand up and stick for a cause on anything? Was that how you saw it, Ken? It was more just, hey, we're that ripped apart, can we even put our shoes on and tie up the laces type thing? So originally I was, rates cap, that's dangerous. And then I thought, well, concerted effort to go to council and show that we are a unified group. Which one? So, do you have anything to add from that Zoom, Ken? It was informative, but Sam Broughton, president, was certainly pushing that we need to have some pushback right at the moment. We're getting steamrolled, smoked. Councillor McIntyre, followed by Vol Wheeler.
Reading through that, I was wondering, well, with LGNZ, I often wonder, but I think they're having a total identity crisis here when they, especially when further down they were, how could we stop rates capping? And they were referring to being louder publicly. But they've got to remember that local government New Zealand, they were comparing the Federated Farmers Save Our Sheep campaign. Well, Federated Farmers, their membership is farmers. So the membership begins right at the bottom. LGNZ are not a ratepayers organisation. LGNZ represent the councils, council staff, councillors, mayors, chairmen, etc. They don't represent the ratepayers. And if they were to, so when they're saying, going out there trying to do a campaign to tell ratepayers that perhaps they should pay more rates, I'm thinking, really? Yeah. They don't represent the ratepayer. They're not a ratepayer organisation.
No, they are us.
No, they represent the council.
Yeah, that's what I mean. LGNZ, the banner says we are LGNZ.
But in comparison to Federated Farmers, farmers are the members.
So which way are we going?
It would just be an absolute fiasco for them.
So which way are we going?
Sorry, Your Worship, just picking up with Councillor McTammany though, is that obviously there are elements to LGNZ's direction of travel that we've just identified, might be problematic or might not make sense. But the core component of the direction of travel, which would be to oppose the introduction of rates capping, I suppose that's the question that you'd have to check with as to whether you would agree with that or disagree with that side of things.
Yeah, and we need to know what the government is actually looking to do with rates capping, because they've said it may be on certain rates. They haven't set a cap on the council's total rate book.
So we've got to be quite clear on that. If you think of it, there's a capping on the non-core services. So core services, so you've got to start thinking of how many arms up our back we've got. We're going to have a financial regulator on the core services of water, 3 waters, 4 waters. There's going to already be a financial regulator that can come in and insist what you do. And then they're going to have the non-core where they're going to tell you, well, spend a wee bit, but you're only spending there.
From rates.
Yeah,
we do some non-core stuff and we take it out of the investment services or council. That's not right.
But what I'm saying, philosophically, what LGNZ is worried about is what's left to do. If you're told what to do in every direction you ever take, what are we sitting around the council table for? But I'm wanting guidance from where we are, please. Can someone come up with a Councillor Finch?
I think we need to do our own rates capping if we're going to do it. I don't think we need told by others to be able to do that rates capping. That's just me.
So are you wanting to put forward a recommendation that we vote against the rates cap?
No, that would be to agree to the direction of travel.
Yes. Yeah.
So is that what you're doing?
No, I'm not there direction of travel is okay.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go back to any councillor for a recommendation so that we can have a vote and move on. Councillor Hurley.
Move things. I'm happy to in favour of it, but in saying so, there's a lot of unknowns at the moment. I mean, what's core? There could be a bit of grey between what's core and what's non-core. It could be that could be up to us. I think the fundamental shift is well, it's about who decides, and that's why we sit here, so we decide. So happy to vote in favour of the direction of travel.
And I will see.
So right, so everyone knows what we're doing here. Councillor Herbert's moved, Councillor Payne seconded, direction of travel. Let's put it to a vote and move on. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against? Cheers.
Councillor Kevin.
Where are we? Sorry, I thought everyone was, my apologies, someone doing that.
And you go back to the original resolution, page 70.
Right, yeah, we've got 3 to tick through, have we? Oh, yeah, we have to. So I'm quite happy to move all 3 recommendations. They're now pretty much operational. So I move to have a seconder, please, for all 3 recommendations. Councillor Volwell is seconding. Any questions, any discussion? If not, put to the vote. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against? Thank you. Election signage or signs policy. Jules?
Yeah, he's done most of the work on this, Your Worship. So I'm sure if there's any questions, he'll be able to answer them. Just a couple of changes. Happy to take the report as read. Obviously, we've nailed down a smaller area in Clinton that was opposed last time. That does leave 2 townships with no designated sign location in terms of Kaitangata and Owaka. And Yea has proposed potentially a couple of options for those in Appendix C. However, we haven't undertaken any discussion with community groups or anyone locally as to whether they would be in favour of those. So just highlighting there would be a risk if you didn't want to add those at this stage, but absolutely happy to take it as read, and he's here to answer questions because I'm sure you'll be able to.
Questions, team? If we're not going questions, we're going straight into discussion, team. We're going to get moving. Any questions? Going, Councillor Volwell.
I guess I'd just be interested in the opinions of the local councillors where those additional signs are proposed. Possibility of additional signs being proposed, like Waka and Kaitangata. Councillor Graham isn't here.
Does anyone from either of those areas want to even make a comment?
Oh. Yes, I suppose looking at the map of Owaka, the ideal spot would be in the centre around the Waka, also then the 100k zone coming into the township. Be my only comment about that, but I think anyone who would be standing in the district would have plenty of access to private property as well. It would be for the community seized. So I don't think there's actually any great demand for it to be a designated spot. But if I was going to choose one spot, I would choose where the triangle where the walk is located in the centre of town.
Any further discussion, team? I can see you like mayor when you're going around the district. I know that first time I ran as mayor, it was, who am I going to ask? Where am I going to go? But actually, there's a test there. If you don't even know a local good enough, you're like, Waka, round boy, let me put it up on this paddock by the bridge when you first go in. You go around and you find them, and it's actually one of the first tests. If you don't even know anyone in the district that will back you enough to throw a sign, and it might be telling you something. And I was also a bit nervous for the Waka one that you had beside the cemetery. I just looked at it and thought, admittedly it was on the berm, it wasn't in the cemetery, but it was close enough that I'd rather put that at Ramboys and be done with it. No, like Councillor Graham, he had one near his farm up on a hill that you drove around quite a sharp corner and it hit you in the eyes, and that worked. So it's like Councillor Catherwood said, I sort of thought, well, a bit of initiative is for the local one, well, you know, if you're run as a councillor, but as mayor, should be using a bit of initiative, and you haven't got enough sway in the district to get a few signs up. Councillor, no.
I thought you were trying to move this along.
Yeah, it was. So what are you doing?
Want us to take a breath?
I've done that many recommendations today. It would be rude if I did any more, but if you keep dragging the chain, I'm going to have to. Come on. Someone, Councillor McCrosty.
Can I go with recommendation 2?
So we'll do 1 because we're only going to accept it, but if you've got number 2.
1 and 2 to 1 at a time, please.
Yeah, but it's got an or in there, so which way are we doing for 2?
I thought you were doing the receive the report.
No, I was going to do both, Sam. He said he's going to do 2. I just said,
No,
let's mop up one more. All right, we're going to do 1. Councillor McCrosty's moving 1, seconded by Councillor Herbert. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against. Right now, let's have the oars in on number 2. I'll put it there. I don't agree that we need to tell them which way to adopt the election zone policy.
So the resolution that reflects attachment A is the one that includes Clinton, which is asked for previously and the work's been done on. And that's all it is, in addition to other things. It doesn't have any additional stuff.
That's what I wanted. Yeah. Does anyone similar, Yali? Yeah, so seconded Councillor Lederman.
That would happen anyway. Yes, that's the resolution.
So everyone knows what we're doing? All those in favour? Aye. Those against? Thank you. I think we're moving. Thank you. We're heading into some gear changes. So we've got 3 council minutes, 5th of May, 25th of May, and also that 15th of May annual plan. I'm going to take all 3 at once if I can. Move Councillor Finch, all 3, are we?
Yes.
Seconded by Councillor Ludeman. It's all 3 of them. Anyone got any discussion before we do it? If not, put to the vote. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against. Over to page 138, regulatory community and community committee meeting on the 12th. Trunk correct record, Councillor Wheeler. Seconded Councillor Finch. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against. Thank you. Same again, corporate and policy committee meeting. Councillor Herbert, seconded by Councillor McCrosty. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against, thank you. There's a recommendation on page 4. There's a recommendation on 147. What's everyone's thoughts?
I'm happy to move the council approves the renewal.
Thank you. So move Councillor Wheeler, seconded by Councillor Mackie. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against. Good timing for a yawn, Councillor Mackie. I'll take it for what it is. Page 148, infrastructure and strategy meeting. Move Councillor Herbert. Seconded. Councillor Ludeman. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against. Committee as a whole. True and correct record. I'll move. Who's seconding?
Yes.
Councillor Von Wheeler. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against. Thank you. Page 157's got the noting of the risk and assurance meeting. I think that was the one that caused such a ruckus because I was cheering it. Like, I don't know why, but. So who moved? Councillor Payne moved. Councillor Finch seconded. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against. Thank you. West Otago community noting. Move Councillor Herbert, seconded Councillor Kennedy. On your marks, get set, go. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against. Same again, noting the Lawrence one. Move Councillor Martin, seconded Councillor Herbert. You all right, Julie? Yep, she's all right. All those in favour? Youth Council, noted. Move Councillor Payne, seconded Councillor Finch. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against. So thank you. So we go over to page 189, my mayoral report. So on the 16th of May, there was the attended the Hillside Workshop, but also the Inland Port. And it was really interesting hearing the announcement this week from Calder Stewart. But then again, when you're 10 years ahead of the game, you can tend to do those things. You'll note that on the 4th of June, we travelled all the way to Timaru and back for the trying to catch up with Timaru and local water done well, but that didn't go down too well in the end. There's a reason, I have a hesitation, give me a minute. Sorry. On D. Curses, can anyone see here where I met the young Parliament person? I can't see it.
Meager.
Pardon?
James Meager.
You're talking about James Meager.
No, there was a youth Parliament representative met me down the street. It was on Monday, but I can't see it in my catch up. Yeah, it was a really neat young person who's going to represent our district in the youth Parliament. She's actually from Syria. Boy, she runs deep, a young lady that's studying law, and it was such a honour to be able to meet her too. And then, of course, Matariki, what a great celebration. And anyone next year came at that 5:30 or 6 o'clock, they put on about a 2-hour performance. It's for nothing. It's free entertainment and it's a celebration of all things good about being Kiwi. So do take the opportunity if you get it, because I really enjoyed it. We're going to go around the table, starting with Councillor Kennedy. So we'll do the rounds and then we'll ask the questions backwards and forwards. Councillor Kennedy.
Just all the normal meetings. We did have a Matariki. It was a bit wet celebration. Put up the new seat at Whiskey Gully for Play Centre this year. So it's a purple seat with the manukas behind it. Yeah.
Nice.
That's me.
Thank you, Michelle. Councillor Phelps.
Your Worship, just attended all the water meetings at Milton, Clutha and Tapanui. Attended the submission hearing. Attended the community awards, which was another great night at Tapona. It was really good to see everyone there. I was meant to go to the Food Hub last night and I completely forgot about it. So my apologies for that, but other than that, that's me.
What was the questions later? Thank you, Wayne. Councillor McHenry.
I'll probably do it in a reverse order. All the meetings that I could attend, I have been, apart from last Wednesday, I wasn't here. And I still don't write anything down, so yeah, I'll carry on.
Thank you, Simon. Get the hang of it. Councillor Fudge.
Just all the meetings through council here, youth council bonfire, youth council meetings, the unveiling, Livingstonia Park, Clutha Foundation, Tiger Museum Board, the Community Service Wards, and all the Southern Water Done Well ones.
There you go. Councillor McCroskey.
All 3 local waters meetings, teams meeting here, community services award, we're all looking forward and standing committees. Today I had the privilege of talking at the Milton Primary School regarding the joys of reading and learning to quite a few youngins. Before I come down, about 3 trips to see some locals over at Tuckermouth.
Nice. Thank you, Ben. Councillor Payne.
Thank you, Your Worship. I've been furiously writing what you've been doing about. Yes, all the usual committee meetings, submissions, Matariki, a couple of South and Water Done Well meetings, community awards, age concern, 2 youth council meetings, and a couple of workshops banged in there. Also the bonfire at Lawrence with the music and everything. It was a great night, and the clean up the next day. Tapoma Trust meeting, had an impromptu meeting with a couple of members from the AMP and Athletics Club. Yesterday I went to Toikoiti and I did a similar thing with the children there. Sat down and talked about politics and actually Telford Farm, and got the privilege of presenting some Duffy Bock Awards. So that was really great.
Me too.
Attended Century Farms, had a pink ribbon dinner at Smoko, at Telford. So it's been a busy month.
No, thank
Did
you.
they ask if you believe in Jesus?
No.
Why not?
Right.
They asked me.
Hold on, questions at the end.
Asking you.
Councillor Herbert.
I've got no questions of that nature. So I'm just doing a bit of freelancing on the 16th of May, is taking photos for an article in the paper for a local reporter. Meeting at the Glenkennick water treatment plant. I attended the Milton, Dalcruz and Tapanui, Southern Water Done Well public meetings. West Tarrant Community Board on the 28th of May. Did the submissions hearings and then the community services after the community service award after that. Zoom meeting with Minister Watts, which was probably one of the best hours I've spent in this room. Civil defence meeting yesterday, and on the Friday, Michelle and I attended Matariki, so been quite busy, Your Worship. It's great, been great.
Thank you, John. Councillor Mackey.
Well, most of the council meetings, missed two, I think, and I went to two of the water meetings, Tapanui and further, and community meetings, and that's about it. Oh, did we have a citizenship ceremony in these?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we went to that.
Thank you, Brent. Councillor Lerner.
Regular meetings and hearings, Telford interviews, the scholarship, community service awards, rec centre meeting, Clifford development meeting, the Southern Water Done Well webinar, and that was really good webinar, that one. And Michelle and John, I actually visited Whiskey Gully on Friday afternoon and saw the bright seat.
Was it dry on Friday morning?
No. Thank you, Ali. Councillor Martin.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, attended all the local water done well meetings. And the other meetings prior to that, plus the Telford, plus the community board, plus the community service awards. Was meant to be in Wellington for Te Maro Atua, but I had a slight medical event and I couldn't attend. Yeah, that's pretty much it, really.
Thank you, John. Councillor Wheeler.
Thanks, Your Worship. Two of the three Southern Water Done Well meetings in our communities, and then there's a number of webinars and online stuff. I think I've attended most of those. Other than that, though, a couple of a whole lot looking forward meetings in the last 6 weeks, and on Tuesday night there was a Target Corrections Facility Community Liaison Group meeting, and the Community Service Awards. Pretty much it.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you. On to Councillor Catherwood.
Submission hearings, council meetings. Must say I enjoyed the team's meeting with the Southern Water Done Well last week. And the only sort of lecture one for myself was the local cattle and senior citizens. Just thoroughly enjoyable.
Thank you, Dane. Questions to questions. Councillor Martin.
Question for Councillor Catherwood, Your Worship. Were you actually attending as an elderly citizen, or were you
as a guest?
Or were you catering?
Well, when's your time wasted? Further questions? I'd allow that question to be asked to Councillor Wheeler, but I won't stand for it. I've got a couple of questions. So far, well, question or not. Firstly, thanks, team, for everyone that came to those community local water done well meetings. They were the last of the embracing, but I just did a calculation. It's 109 days till I hit that exit door pretty hard, and I have asked this local water, the transition, it's the stupidity of the timing, is going to have it that where's the continuity? I'm really worried about the continuity. I'm also worried about the loading up of the 4 mayors with we're putting their hand up and charging off, although we haven't really, but the potential's there and things are going to move fast. I've asked, could we set up a group of those that are interested in coming? Because when I go, that September isn't going to be the end of it, I don't think. September, October, November. Please, if anyone is, it's been good to have Ken coming along, but we've got to start looking at continuity. Anyone that's interested, will be a bit of give. You're going to have to get up to speed somewhere. So please, you can get back to me or Hans if you want to join the group, because as I said, I've been puffing. It's hard going at the moment, trying to keep up with it.
How often and where are they? Are they all Zoom?
So we have a meeting once a week on a Monday, but then they throw it. It's just always things coming at you. This meeting, go to there, catch up with. So it's 109 days that you're going to have to bounce. But my worry is, if I hit the door, who's been to the, oh yeah, 2 weeks ago we said this, I'm gone. So Councillor McAtamney. Councillor Martin.
I'll ask what Councillor McAtamney was wanting to ask. So we're going to make the decisions on the 10th of July. If it doesn't go ahead.
Something goes ahead.
But if it doesn't go ahead.
Something will go ahead. Yeah.
But there won't be a group of 4 mayors if it doesn't go that way in their favour.
Yeah, but there's still going to be, well, okay.
Options too.
Yep, but then there's the consequence of delivering a viable water plan, and it's September the 4th, I'm out the door, and you guys are going to have to mop it up. Whichever option we choose, there's a need for continuity between now and Christmas. And I would suspect it's going to be that the surprises are going to come after September the 3rd. This time, so.
Yeah, I think this is probably 2 years.
Yep.
It goes ahead of a lot of decision making and transition. There's a lot of decisions for a lot of things are going to spin out of whatever happens. So I'm sort of a wee bit more relaxed about the agency in the next while. There'll be a vote, and then you go from there. But whatever happens,
will happen.
There's a lot of work to be done in the next 2 years.
Regardless. I'm heartened by your confidence, but I can tell you there's a lot of things happening that if you aren't at the meetings, how can you be privy to it?
Well, if I spin from that, why? I mean, this has been happening since December. There should have been more in there. And whether that's I'm not sure whether it's a decision from, I don't think it is from our council, but I'm flabbergasted with how some of the other councils appear to have approached it, with keeping their councillors out to the side. And just the mayors in these negotiations. So there's a lot going on, maybe, but we just haven't been privy to it.
And I'm not comfortable with that, and I'm trying to do something about it. But unless you're willing to form a group, I've got no choice but to just keep on.
Well, it's very late in the piece, I have been quite surprised at the whole process, right from about December, at the lack of input for the councillors of all 4 councils.
It's probably over a year that I've been saying that I'm struggling and I need a hand and I need input and I need help. For one last chance, we've got 109 days. If you don't want to do it, what can I do?
Well, we've asked questions, but then it's just keep coming back. There's a lot of mayoral meetings that have never involved a wider group. And it doesn't have to be everyone. It could have been some of the more senior councillors here and the other councillors.
So I've got to clarify this. What I'm wanting to get is the appetite, because if you don't want to do it, it's no use me going back and having it out with the other 3 mayors that, hey, you can do what you like, but I want to have 4 councillors, 3, 5, 7. I want my councillors, but you don't want to do it.
The hard part now is we're that late in the piece that if we the stuff in there that we're not happy with, it's very late to argue with it. That's just the way it's run.
Well, I do go back to I've been asking for over a year. And please, if anyone wants to do it, get hold of Anna. If we don't, then so be it for September the 3rd and all.
But Your Worship, just sorry, Councillor. There were opportunities when the project team, I think it was, presented or tried to update councillors and things like that. There were earlier decisions made that said, in order to get this done because of there's just no time for anything and to have, the research necessary and all this, it was decided earlier on that the representation of councils would be two members on a shortened thing, not the whole council and all that. At least there's some nodding that at least that was mentioned in that. So that was the mechanism that was decided upon for the, working their way through things, with every intention that as things are worked through, it's, back to informing councillors and bits and pieces and all that. But there wasn't any proposal probably because they believed it was unworkable, and that, staff and CEs as well, of having, workshops with full four councillors on a frequent basis to include them in things in that sense. That's my recollection of the structure that was determined for that. And then, I can also say to you that the way some other things have been thrown in, the Timaru issue and all that side of things, that was just purely mayoral level related side of things, discussing a lot of stuff around that honestly would never have been able to be, having all our councillors and all the other councillors joined in trying to do that. I think some of our issue is worship is trying to inform you about 200% of information regularly on things, and yet that's not necessarily what other councils are doing, and you're only getting informed at stages. So
probably more it is, if you have a question on October the 20th, who are you going to ask? I don't hear. And that's why that continuity at this transition phase I see is important, but that's, it falls on to Kenny, but in fairness, Kenny, you've got work as well in Auckland for you. So I'm just highlighting the fact that as we go towards that exit door, if you want to have that chain of information going through, we're going to have to make changes, but I keep putting it forward. But anyway, I've got recommendations back on some page. Oh,
I interrupted Councillor.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so I, for one, have actually, it's become a lot easier for me by actually attending these meetings and getting to understand. And so I'm getting a better grasp on it all the time. I'm happy to carry on in that role as much as I can. I obviously can't make all meetings because I am working full time, but it would be great if there was 2 or 3 that could come along for the journey as well. It can be done by Zoom, most of it. So that's really great. And my parting shot is, if there are any questions, you've got to ask them now. And I know it's difficult, Simon, but there's been some talk around the emails and that.
Yeah, well, that's where I'm coming from too, Ken, that the talk's been there. I'm happy for you to come, get the amount of information right up, but what more can I do than invite you, and then if you don't want to come? So I don't know what to do. Councillor Wheeler.
Yeah, I was attending those meetings
Yes,
at one stage, but unfortunately I seem to have got left out of the loop and wasn't aware of the meetings were occurring.
What was the mechanism for that, Bruce? Were we having 3? Because then they said 2, and I thought it was Ken.
I was attending when Ken wasn't, and I'm happy to leave that up to Ken. I don't feel so.
What Brian's saying, it's good to have that support, to wrap around. Yeah.
Councillor Herman.
For continuity, it has to be common sense for the people to standing again. So for those that aren't standing, it's pointless attending.
Yep.
I'm very
So
happy
you're
to
putting
be
your hand
involved.
up. Well, there's no, if you want continuity, it has
But
to
are
be.
you putting your hand up?
I'm happy to be involved.
Yeah, can anyone, as I say, Gainer, anyone, if you, and it does make sense, the standings, get in touch with Anna, and then I'll push to see whether we can open up more at our end, because the others might balk. I don't know where they are with it. But I've got a report back on 189. I moved. Does anyone want a second? Councillor Herbert, all those in favour?
Aye.
Those against. Over to our Chief Executive for his report.
I'll just take the report as read and answer any questions you wish.
Questions, team? There's only one question I had, and it's the request received under the Official Information Act. Are we able to have just one more line or one more wee bit of information? Because member of the public, are we able to have, if there's in that period there's been 5 from one member of the public, that we have the 5 member of the public, so that we know that there is a focus from one member of the public? Because from this you can't tell whether there are actually 7 different members of the public or only 3 and they've done it twice or whatever. Are we able to get that indication?
as long as we're not identifying.
Yeah,
anybody
no, I'm not
particularly,
asking the name, it's just to
we can
know.
do that, your worship.
Thank you. Any further questions? If not, back to the recommendation on page 193. Move councillor Herbert, seconded councillor Phelps. All those in favour?
Aye.
Those against? What say we have smoker? Oh, hold on, Di's got another idea. Oh yeah, Di wants us to move into public, non-public before we do that. So you'll see on page 199, we've got the reasons to move into public excluded. Are you moving in that direction, councillor Finch? Seconded. Councillor Valwela, all those in favour? Those against, thank you. We'll just come back.